One of the topics that we always cover in climbing self-rescue is some basic anchoring principles. One of the assumptions here and one of the prerequisites of the course is that you've already taken some other climbing courses either at Colorado Mountain College or elsewhere. And on top of that is you've already got some climbing experience. If you've taken courses with us at Spring Valley, you've likely taken top rope climbing, where you learned about natural anchors using trees and boulders. You've taken sport climbing, where you learned about building anchors with bolts, as we use in sport climbing. And then you took rock climbing 2, where you learned how to build anchors with traditional climbing gear like cams and stoppers and so on. So here in climbing self-rescue, we've already are really assuming that you've got those prerequisites, that this is not going to be the first time you've built an anchor, but we still always like to cover this and give you some things to think about. In climbing self-rescue, we really here in the past have always really focused on bolted anchors. Those are kind of what's most common, and granted, all these things can still apply with traditional gear as well, or natural anchors. And one of the things that has been really a topic of conversation over the years is the use of different teaching tools like mnemonics or acronyms to help teach anchoring principles. Here at CMC, we've kind of come up with our own acronym, or maybe I came up with it. Acronyms have changed over the years. You might have heard about Earnest or Serene, or my play on it was Serena, where the A added on the angles. There's some limitations to these acronyms, and so hence more and more the push, I would say, is to get away from this strict adherence to acronym that we memorize, and instead just trying to get us to think about anchors more holistically and focusing on the most important parts of it. So I'll talk about this acronym that I've come up with that we've been using here at Spring Valley campus, but just keep in mind that it's better for you to build good anchors by practicing how to build good anchors, by recognizing maybe what a bad anchor is and recognizing what a good anchor is and recognizing the different components of it, rather than just memorizing an acronym. So here, this acronym that we've been using lately is really intended to kind of encompass the things that we always think about when we're building an anchor, and it's DREAMS. And so D is distribution. The idea that we want our loads distributed relatively evenly between our anchor points. We want to be redundant. We never want to rely on one single anchor point. We want to be efficient, and when we build anchors, that means we want to be efficient with our time and our materials. Angles, we want our angles to be small, 90 degrees or less. We want minimal extension in our anchor points. And most importantly, saving the most important for last, is solid. That whatever we're using for our anchor points, they should be solid in themselves. We shouldn't be trying to equalize really small, poor pieces of gear or really, really small trees or whatever it might be, but the anchor points we're choosing are solid on their own. If you've taken other courses with us, you'll know that we always expound upon these in much greater detail. Here in a moment, I'm going to teach some different anchoring principles and some different types of anchors, and you'll see some of these topics come up. But this is just a little, maybe a refresher for some of the things that we think about when we build anchors in the climbing world.